In the neon-lit corridors of Las Vegas, on a night when the air was electric with anticipation, a tragedy unfolded that would ripple through the annals of music history. Tupac Shakur, a rap icon whose lyrics resonated with the struggles and aspirations of millions, was brutally gunned down in a drive-by shooting. More than a quarter century later, the murder remains shrouded in layers of mystery and conspiracy, its resolution as elusive as the shadows that flit across the city's sun-scorched pavements. The murder of Tupac Shakur isn't merely a cold case, it's a frozen slice of the 90s, echoing the beats, the conflicts, and the raw emotions of an era. It's a story of fame, feuds, and a night that ended in gunfire. It's a narrative ripe with questions and devoid of answers, a true enigma wrapped in the guise of a cultural legend. Tupac Shakur was born into turmoil, his mother a Black Panther, his birthright more a burden than a boon. Harlem, 1971, was a crucible of civil rights activism, and Tupac's infancy was cradled by revolution. These early years shaped him, his art a reflection of his mother's fire. From the onset, music was Tupac's refuge and his proclamation. He wrote his first rap in Baltimore, a city that taught him both the beauty and brutality of urban life. His lyrics, sharpened by reality, began to echo the streets and the struggles within them. By the time he moved to California in the late 1980s, Tupac was ready, his voice a clarion call for the silenced. His songs, poetic, powerful, prophetic, began to capture attention. Here was a youth who knew the ghetto and grieved for its pains. Tupac's catapult into the limelight was as meteoric as it was inevitable. By the early 1990s, he had not only broken into the music scene but had begun redefining it. His debut album, Tupacalypse Now, was a raw, unfiltered narrative that spoke directly to the social injustices he witnessed growing up. His subsequent albums, Strictly For My Niggas and Me Against the World, were both critical and commercial successes. Tupac's ability to blend poetic finesse with hard-hitting social commentary quickly cemented his place as a voice for the voiceless. His music didn't just top charts, it stirred souls. But it was not just his music that drew the masses, it was his persona. Tupac was both a thug and a scholar, a revolutionary with the charisma of a leader and the vulnerability of a poet. Tupac Shakur transcended the world of music to become a symbol of resistance and resilience. His songs became anthems at rallies, his lyrics quoted in protests. He was not merely an artist, he was a cultural icon whose influence was felt far beyond the confines of hip-hop. His activism was interwoven with his artistry. Tracks like Changes and Keep Ya Head Up addressed systemic issues such as racial inequality, police brutality, and the dire circumstances of the African American community. Tupac's voice became a powerful tool in the fight for social justice. Beyond his music, Tupac's interviews and public appearances were peppered with calls for unity and change. He challenged the norms, questioned the status quo, and dared to dream of a better world. His activism, though sometimes overshadowed by his controversies, was driven by a deep-seated desire to uplift his community. The mid-90s hip-hop scene was marred by a deadly rivalry that split the music world into East Coast and West Coast camps. This feud was emblematic of deeper cultural and economic battles, but it was personified by the tension between Tupac Shakur and the notorious Big Tupac, though a New York native, became the face of the West Coast, thanks in part to his affiliation with Death Row Records. The rivalry escalated with diss tracks and public insults, drawing in numerous artists and executives from both sides. It was a war waged not only in lyrics, but also in the media. This rivalry, fueled by a sensationalist press, created an environment of animosity and paranoia. Tupac's role in this feud, often highlighted by his confrontational persona, made him a target. Each public appearance, each new song, added layers to the unfolding drama that would tragically culminate in his untimely death. September 7, 1996, began as a celebratory evening in Las Vegas, with Tupac attending a Mike Tyson fight at the MGM Grand. Post-fight, the atmosphere was charged, the night young and full of potential. Little did anyone know, it would soon turn grim. After the match, Tupac, accompanied by Suge Knight, head of Death Row Records, headed for Club 662. The streets of Las Vegas, usually buzzing with harmless revelry, were about to become the backdrop to a violent act that would shake the music world. At approximately 11:15 p.m., their black BMW was halted at a stoplight on East Flamingo Road. A white Cadillac pulled up beside them, and gunfire erupted. Tupac was struck by 4 bullets, 2 in the chest, 1 in the arm, and 1 in the thigh. The car sped away as Knight, injured, managed to drive Tupac to the University Medical Center. Tupac would fight for his life over the next 6 days, a battle he ultimately lost. The investigation into Tupac's murder kicked off with urgency, but soon became mired in complexities and controversies. The Las Vegas police, overwhelmed by the high-profile nature of the case, struggled to piece together the chaotic events of that night. Eyewitness accounts were inconsistent, and the lack of immediate leads hampered the progress. Over time, several theories emerged, ranging from gang-related hits to retaliatory strikes owing to the East Coast-West Coast feud. Suge Knight, present during the shooting, was also scrutinized, but nothing conclusive was ever established. Further compounding the issue were rumors of corrupt cops involved in the hip-hop scene, which led to allegations of a cover-up. This myriad of theories, each with its proponents, has made the truth elusive, leaving a cloud of doubt and intrigue hanging over the case. Suge Knight, the enigmatic CEO of Death Row Records, was not only a central figure in Tupac's career, but also on the night of the murder. His proximity to Tupac at the time of the shooting and his complex web of connections within the industry and the criminal underworld have sparked numerous speculations. Some theories posit that Knight had a motive related to financial disputes or control over Tupac's lucrative career. Despite his denials and lack of concrete evidence linking him to the crime, Knight's reputation and criminal associations have kept these theories alive in public discourse and investigative circles. The media's role in Tupac's life and death cannot be overstated. His rise and the subsequent feud were heavily covered, often with sensationalism that amplified tensions. Following his death, the media frenzy intensified, with outlets racing to uncover angles and break news, sometimes at the cost of accuracy. This coverage shaped public perception, painting Tupac alternately as a victim of societal violence or a martyr of the rap feud. The relentless spotlight also pressured law enforcement, influencing the investigation's direction and the public's expectations for a swift resolution, which never came. The investigation into Tupac's murder was marked by several missteps. Initial delays in gathering evidence, the chaotic crime scene management, and the failure to secure key witness testimonies early on hampered the case. Critiques of the Las Vegas Police Department's handling of the case point to a lack of experience with cases of such magnitude and visibility. Additionally, the potential leads that were not followed up, like the gang affiliations and the involvement of other high-profile figures, suggest possible oversights or misjudgments. These failures have not only stalled the case, but have also fueled further speculation and conspiracy theories. The notion that gang rivalry led to Tupac's death is one of the more persistent theories. His association with known gang members and his role in the intensifying gang-related dynamics of the rap industry placed him at risk. This theory is supported by the style of the hit, which mirrored gang execution methods. However, conspiracy theories abound, with some suggesting a larger plot involving music industry executives, rival rap factions, or even covert law enforcement operations. The lack of clear evidence and the multitude of potential motives and suspects have made these conspiracy theories a permanent fixture in the narrative of Tupac's death. Tupac's murder is often discussed not just as a crime, but as a cultural event that reflects broader societal issues. Some theories explore how his death was influenced by societal attitudes towards race, celebrity, and violence. His status as a vocal critic of systemic injustice also adds layers to the cultural interpretation of his murder. These theories suggest that Tupac's outspokenness and visibility made him a target, not just for criminal elements, but also as a figure whose death would resonate symbolically, highlighting the very issues he fought against. This angle provides a deeper, more nuanced understanding of his death within the context of American social dynamics. Several key figures and witnesses were present during the events leading up to and following Tupac's shooting. Their testimonies and accounts have been crucial in piecing together the narrative. However, conflicting statements and the fear of retaliation have complicated the investigation. Key figures like members of Tupac's entourage, rival gang members, and other attendees of the Tyson fight have all provided parts of the puzzle. Their reliability and the fragmented nature of their accounts have made it difficult to establish a coherent narrative, leaving many questions unanswered. Despite extensive investigation and public interest, many questions about Tupac's murder remain unanswered. Who were the occupants of the white Cadillac? What was the motive behind the shooting? Why has no one been officially charged? These unanswered questions not only frustrate efforts to achieve closure, but also perpetuate the mystery surrounding Tupac's death. The lack of answers has also led to a proliferation of theories, each trying to make sense of the various loose ends left by the official investigation. Tupac's death had a profound impact on the music industry. It highlighted the violent undercurrents sometimes associated with rap music and prompted discussions about artists' safety. The industry began to reevaluate how it dealt with artist feuds and security measures. Moreover, Tupac's death brought about a shift in the lyrical content of rap music, with more artists reflecting on violence, legacy, and mortality. His influence continued to be felt, as artists and fans alike grappled with the loss and its implications for the genre. More than 2 decades later, Tupac's legacy continues to be immensely powerful. He is celebrated not just as a rapper, but as a cultural icon whose music addressed systemic issues and spoke to the soul of society. His albums continue to sell, and his influence is evident across a new generation of musicians and activists. His legacy extends beyond music, influencing discussions on racial injustice, poverty, and resistance. Tupac's life and work inspire scholarly analysis, documentaries, and music tributes, ensuring that while he may be gone, his voice and impact are everlasting. The pursuit of justice for Tupac has been a winding road filled with dead ends and renewed hopes. His family and fans continue to seek closure, advocating for renewed investigations and accountability. This ongoing quest for justice reflects not only the love for Tupac, but also a broader desire for fairness and truth in cases involving artists and public figures. The lack of closure has also maintained Tupac's presence in public discourse, his case a symbol of the challenges of resolving high-profile murders and the quest for truth in a complex, often opaque industry. Tupac's case is often compared to other unsolved celebrity murders, such as that of the notorious Big, who was killed in a similar fashion 6 months later. These comparisons highlight the difficulties in solving cases that involve high-profile figures and complex intersecting motives. What sets Tupac's case apart is the sheer volume of theories and the cultural layers that intersect with his public persona and work. Unlike other cases, Tupac's murder is deeply intertwined with his art and activism, making it not just a criminal case but a cultural phenomenon. Advancements in forensic technology have reopened many cold cases, offering new hope that Tupac's murder might one day be solved. Techniques such as digital reconstruction, enhanced surveillance analysis, and DNA testing present possibilities for revisiting evidence that was previously inconclusive. While these technologies offer a glimmer of hope, their application in Tupac's case has been limited. Continued interest and pressure from the public might catalyze the use of these modern techniques in re-examining the available evidence. Tupac Shakur remains an enigmatic figure whose life and death continue to captivate, inspire, and provoke. His story is a tapestry of talent, controversy, and unsolved mystery, each thread revealing different facets of the man and the myth. As the years pass, the legend of Tupac only grows, his music still resonating with old fans and captivating new ones. While the truth about his murder may remain obscured, his impact is clear and enduring. Tupac Shakur was more than a rapper. He was a movement, and his legacy, like his voice, refuses to be silenced. As we reflect on his life and the still unsolved mystery of his death, we are reminded of the complexities of justice, the power of art, and the indomitable spirit of Tupac Amaru Shakur.